look at the second coming. So Matthew 24:36. But concerning that day and the hour, no one knows, not even the messengers of the heavens, but my Father only. How can the Messiah be Elohim and co equal with the Father if he doesn't even know when his second coming is?
Mm-hmm.
How can he be the Almighty if he doesn't even know when he's coming back to earth the second time?
And again, and again, and again, and again, they move the goalpost. It's a logical fallacy if no one knows what I'm talking about. Think of yourself playing soccer, European football, soccer. Every time you're about to shoot that ball right in the center of the goal, they move the goalpost so that you miss. Think about playing basketball. As soon as you're about to whoosh a three, someone takes the hoop and moves it really quick. As soon as you're about to prove your point, they move the goalpost because they can't let you prove your point. So, oh my gosh, Yeshua doesn't know the day or the hour, and yet he's supposed to be all-knowing, all-powerful. Okay, well, we'll move the goalpost by saying that at that very moment, he was not God. It was his man nature. That was his human nature, where he didn't have all knowledge. It's like, okay, well, what he's like, it's like flipping channels. Like 1 minute he's Yahweh, 1 minute he's not. He just forgets he's Yahweh, or just he's all knowing, and then suddenly he's not. Yet he's making one of the most powerful, most important chapters of prophecy, and that's when he decides not to know the future. Yet he's prophesying about the future, which I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm with you. And to follow closely behind that last verse, this is another one that I was kind of like, I don't understand. So in Hebrews 4:15, so we're going to read this one from the King James. And most of this, let me say this real quick. Most of the scriptures that I do read on here, at least for my presentations, I don't know about John, I read from the ISR, or the Institute for Scripture Research. It's a literal translation. So, but it's a translation. I mean, none of them are perfect. We just have to do our own word studies and look stuff up in the original languages. But Hebrews 4:15 in the KJV, for we have not a high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted, like as we are, yet without sin. And then James 1:13, the ISR, let no one say when he is enticed or tempted, I am enticed or tempted by Elohim, for Elohim is not enticed by evil matters, and he entices no one. Can we really say that the Messiah was Elohim in the flesh after looking at these two verses? Again, I would say this is very problematic for somebody that comes from a Trinity perspective, because they will say that he was Elohim in the flesh, and oneness as well. They say he's the Father in the flesh. He was tempted.
Mm-hmm.
And James 1:13 says Elohim is not tempted. So how do they overcome this one?
You know what's beautiful is my friend Matt Brandt, great guy. He became a Unitarian about two years ago, roughly. Man, he made a good point. He said the first Adam is obviously Adam in Genesis. Second Adam is Yeshua. And yet, what do we see with the first Adam? He is given all the food he needs, all the comfort, all the joy. He has a wife. He's got everything he needs. He's told not to have this one fruit. And he's tempted. And he falls into temptation.
Yep.
Here he is with the second Adam, he's greater, Yeshua. He's in the desert. His body's literally starting to break down and eat its own muscle fiber, probably for protein. He's literally looking like he hasn't eaten in 40 days, right? He's extremely exhausted and hungry and starving. He doesn't have a huge garden around him. He's alone. He has no one to back him up. He's all by himself, and he's tempted by saying, turn these rocks into bread. And he was tempted, it says. It doesn't say, oh, he didn't even care. He was tempted. But then he quoted scripture saying, I shall not live by bread alone, but every word that comes from the Father. So to me, it shows you that he overcame temptation. As the first one fell into temptation and brought sin and death, the second Adam, second human, look up the word Adam, right? The second man, perfect man, was tempted in all ways and overcame temptation. And the Father rewarded him by raising him up above all creation and making him the most powerful creation in the universe at his right hand, giving him authority and power to rule the world.